The message popped up on my phone at 9:03 p.m. Hey, tell Emily I hope her presentation went well. She killed it at the bar tonight. For a moment, my brain couldn't process the words. Bar. Presentation. My fiancée, Emily, had texted me an hour earlier saying she'd be working late with her marketing team. She'd even sent a photo of her laptop, an untouched cup of coffee beside it. I stared at the text, my pulse pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Her coworker, Jake, must have sent that message to the wrong person. I could almost hear the casual tone, the drunken looseness behind it, like someone who didn't realize they'd just lit a fuse. I typed back before I could stop myself. Hey Jake, what bar? 3 grey dots appeared. Then disappeared. No reply. The silence after that felt suffocating. I could hear the hum of the refrigerator, the faint tick of the clock, and the thunder building outside. My apartment suddenly felt too quiet, too empty, like every sound had been swallowed by the weight in my chest. I stared at Emily's coffee mug sitting on the counter, the one that said Boss Lady, and the lipstick stain still fresh on its rim. She never worked this late before. I told myself not to jump to conclusions. She was ambitious, dedicated, loyal. She loved me. We'd been together 5 years, engaged for 1. She was planning the wedding with spreadsheets and color swatches, for God's sake. But my gut had been uneasy for weeks. Little things. The new perfume she said she just liked the scent of. The sudden secrecy with her phone. The way she'd started saying I'll call you later instead of I'll see you soon. I grabbed my keys before reason could catch up to me. The rain started as I drove, slicing through the windshield like static. I didn't even know where I was going until I saw the glow of neon lights up ahead, Harbor Lounge. That was Jake's favorite hangout. I parked a block away, my hands trembling around the steering wheel. Inside, the bar was dim, buzzing with music and laughter. The air smelled like whiskey and citrus. I scanned the crowd, my heartbeat roaring in my ears. Then I saw her. Emily. In a sleek black blazer, the one she wore to important meetings. Sitting at a corner booth. Laughing. Her hand rested on Jake's forearm. He leaned in close, saying something that made her blush. For a second, everything around me blurred, the music, the people, even my breath. It was like watching a scene from a movie I didn't want to be in. She wasn't working late. She was with him. I stood frozen, part of me screaming to confront her, another part wanting to turn around and pretend I never saw it. Denial has a strange comfort. It lets you stay in the version of your life that still makes sense. But when Jake brushed a strand of her hair behind her ear, something inside me cracked. I walked toward them, every step slow, deliberate. My shoes hit the floor harder than I meant them to, and by the time she noticed me, her smile had already started to fade. Ethan, she said, voice trembling. What are you? Working late. I cut in. Jake looked away, his face flushing. Emily opened her mouth but no sound came out. The silence between us filled with everything she didn't say, excuses, lies, half-truths. I glanced at her hand still resting on the table, the same hand that wore the ring I'd given her. I wanted to believe there was a reasonable explanation, that I'd misread everything. But her eyes, guilt, fear, panic, told me the truth before her words did. It's not what it looks like, she whispered. I almost laughed. The cliché hurt more than the betrayal itself. We drove home in silence. She sat in the passenger seat, staring out the window as raindrops streaked down the glass. I could smell the faint trace of his cologne on her. My chest ached with each breath. When we got inside, she tried to speak, but I stopped her. Just tell me, I said quietly. How long? Her lips quivered. It wasn't supposed to happen. After the Chicago trip, things just changed. We got close working late nights, and My stomach turned. You slept with him. Tears filled her eyes. It was once. I swear. I didn't know how to tell you. I wanted to yell, to throw something, to demand how she could do this after everything we'd built. But all I could do was sink onto the couch and stare at my hands, as if they belonged to someone else. The rain outside grew heavier. I remembered the first time she'd said she loved me, by a lake, under the same kind of rain. Now the sound of it felt cruel. She sat beside me, her voice barely a whisper. I made a mistake, Ethan. I love you. I was just lost. You've been distant lately, and I felt like you didn't see me anymore. I turned to her. So you found someone who did. She flinched. There it was, the truth neither of us wanted to admit. Somewhere between routine and comfort, we'd both started drifting. I hadn't seen it, or maybe I hadn't wanted to. I want to fix this, she said, reaching for my hand. Please. I looked at her, really looked at her, the woman I loved, the woman who betrayed me. And in her eyes, I saw not a villain, but a person drowning in her own guilt and confusion. It didn't make the pain less, but it made it real. A week later, she moved out. Not because I asked her to, but because we both knew space was the only thing left between us that made sense. Sometimes I still scroll through our old messages, rereading the words of people who thought they'd never hurt each other. Love isn't always shattered by hatred. Sometimes it dies quietly, in missed calls, late nights, and the soft lie of working late. But every now and then, I still wonder what would have happened if Jake hadn't sent that message by mistake. If I'd never gone to that bar. Maybe I'd still believe she was mine. Maybe that's the cruelest part of betrayal. It doesn't just break what you have. It ruins what you thought you knew.